All right, well, now I want to take a look at M. Night Shyamalan's brand new movie, Trap. Now, I will admit that I am a pretty big fan of M. Night Shyamalan. There's been so many of his movies over the years that I've loved, even the ones, though, that people are kind of been a bit iffy about over the years, like the Lady in the Water, or The Village, or The Visit. I've kind of liked most of his films, with the exceptions, of course, being old, that I just didn't find myself being able to relate to at all, to be absolutely honest, and also The Last Airbender. But I'm not sure there's anybody out there that connected with The Last Airbender. Right to the point where I think movies like Split have been kind of harshly done by over the years, not to win awards, especially for James McAvoy's performance. So going and taking a look at Trap was something I was kind of excited about. Not only liking the director, but I'd seen the trailer and I was kind of like, hey, this actually looks like a pretty good psychological thriller. Now, for those of you out there that don't know about this movie, it centers around a dad called Cooper, played by Josh Hartnett, who has a very, very excited teenage daughter named Riley, played by Ariel Donahue, who he takes to a concert of a performer called Lady Raven, who's played by Salika Shyamalan. Now, it's a little bit like a Taylor Swift concert. Every teenage girl wants to be there. Cooper is now considered the best dad in the world by his daughter Riley for being able to get tickets to the show. But this is a show with a difference. This show has basically been put on as a trap, because, and I'm not spoiling anything here, it's given away very, very early on, Cooper is a serial killer. And when the police realize, and I'm not going to say how the police realize this because this is a twist, when the police realize that this guy may be a fan or close to a fan of Lady Raven, they decide to put on a concert to use as a trap, as a way of trying to find this serial killer. Cooper, once he's inside with Riley, realizes that he has now been trapped, and from there he has to try and find a way of getting out of this situation without getting caught. That's probably the best way to put it. Now, for me, that is an absolutely brilliant premise of a film. M. Night Shyamalan, as a filmmaker here, also uses as the performance of Lady Raven. So there's times during this where there's whole songs, but all the while you see Cooper trying to work out a way out of this. And it's kind of funny when you're watching this film, because M. Night Shyamalan has actually written this in a way where it is not like a Silence of the Lambs, let's catch this killer, you're on the side of the police kind of film. This is a film where you're almost on Cooper's side, where you're like, hey, I want to see this guy use his cunning and use his smarts to get out of this situation. It's actually quite smart the way M. Night Shyamalan has set up the movie to kind of put you in that situation, because it's not what you would expect from this film. There's also for people out there that think that this film is just going to be that kind of premise for the whole time, there is a lot more going on in this film that M. Night Shyamalan kind of surprises you with as well, including the introduction of a character called Dr. Josephine Grant, played by Hayley Mills, that is supposed to be this expert at hunting down people like Cooper. I think what I really enjoyed about this movie was how on edge it keeps you. A lot of people were talking about Longlegs as a psychological thriller. I actually think Trap is a much better film than Longlegs. I really, really enjoyed Trap. It was interesting because M. Night Shyamalan does like to go into that kind of like comic book world, like he did with Split and Glass and stuff like that. And other times he likes to go into the extraordinary, which we've seen with films like The Happening. He doesn't kind of do that here. He kind of lets this be a movie about a psycho, and the lengths that he will go to try and get himself out of this trap. So for me, I think this is the kind of movie that is a bit different on the M. Night Shyamalan scale, but still really, really works. Also, I've got to pay credit to Josh Hartnett here. He is a guy that I am so glad is getting a second go at Hollywood. Of course, um, I love this guy when he was in movies like The Faculty and Pearl Harbor in his early days, and it's so good now seeing him come back through films like through Guy Ritchie's films and now an M Night Shyamalan movie. So this guy is a good actor, and he shows here that he can really take that dark edge and really play a psycho like this quite well. So look, I'm pretty happy that Josh Hartnett is getting to do a movie like this as well. So yeah, good performance by Josh Hartnett. Great performance by Ariel Donahue as well, who has to act beyond her years here because for a lot of this movie, it's her and Josh Hartnett that's carrying this film. So yeah, so some pretty impressive performances there. But I am going to give Trap 3.5 out of 5. I think this is well worth a look if you like psychological thrillers. Even if you're someone that maybe isn't as big a M Night Shyamalan fan as I am, I think you'll enjoy this film just because of the psychological thriller part of this movie that makes it such a great film. So I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. It is a general release, so it should be showing in a cinema near you and coming to streaming platforms very, very soon. So that is what I'm giving Trap, 3.5 out of 5.